The Yellow Brick Road. This video does not reflect the actual views of real people. These are actors playing a role to entertain audiences. No persons or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Gosh, I love YouTube and I love Google.
Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James. My little browser thing is saying we're in the red, so I have no idea if this video is even working. Whatever. So this video we're going to be talking about something very philosophical. What is beauty? Is it objective? Or is it in the eye of the beholder?
It's about 5'7", 120 pounds.
Oh, thick. Okay. Male or female? Right. Anyways, so I believe
he's a flyweight, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm just kidding.
So the video we're using, in order to comment on this, is once again from Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, an underrated YouTube channel. You should check her out. For some reason, I try to type her name in, it doesn't pop up in the search engine. Really? It's like I type in blonde and then the rest of it's just blank. Either way,
it's Blonde in the Belly of the Beast.
I think she's gonna make a critique about art and what is actually good-looking art as a way to say that there's objective aesthetic beauty of people. That there's here's a hierarchy of beauty.
It's like Arnold, whatever. How the fuck do you do that? Arnold.
Yeah.
Aesthetic beauty. I'm doing this. Not Nazi salute or anything.
And as we know, once we establish there's an objective beauty, there must be an objective ugly. And I think she's going to use art to get that point across. Even though she might strictly say this is an art thingy, I think she's quietly saying about people.
She shows us we're on that spectrum. Like these guys.
Yeah, or like she'll do it with objective, or objectively, this is how men behave, and this is how women behave. Mm-hmm. Like that whole thing. Once again, in order to lead to another ideology, they just pile on top of each other, these ideologies. Like, we need to have policy that works this way because men do this and women do that. And then it'll break off into race. Like, well, blacks do this and whites do that. And then it'll keep breaking off, boxing people in, and we end up losing whatever the fuck individuality is. So I should have closed this.
See, it looks like I froze.
Okay, so this is Blonde in the Belly of the Beast. Skipped in school number 4. What constitutes good art? Question mark.
I believe that a well-rounded education should include the in-depth study of the myriad artistic gifts offered to the world by Western civilization. That means understanding the difference between this and this.
What the fuck?
You see, in my mind, I'm like, a masterful witch here to put spells on people. And you go to Michael Dissarian, like, how do you put a spell on someone? You spell it. You use words to put spells on people.
Got to spell it? Got to use letters and words to put a spell on it. But watch out for sorcerers like this.
But yeah, she's gonna go with the. Actually, we should look at the outfits just to see.
Yeah, in her face too.
Just to see.
This.
Look at her face. Like, I don't know, guys. You tell me.
To.
And this.
Oh, this is preferable. This is the one I want in my living room now. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, cheers.
It's objective because I was frowning in one and smiling in another.
23
It's objectively good looking.
23 a good year. Take a picture. Take a picture, Charles. Snap.
Alright, continuing.
Like most folks educated in public school, although I was lucky enough to have a few professors that were particularly good at differentiating between masterpieces and garbage, I had plenty of teachers that legitimized postmodernist artists and put their works on par with the great masters. Teachers should focus prominently on the classics, but more generally on art that predates or includes the post-impressionist era. Of course, there are many notable exceptions that should be included in curriculum, but the focus should be on masterworks and developing a student's ability to identify what makes...
You're showing a bunch of lazy fuckers lying down on steps and shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, they start off, right? I think her agenda is to say men are like this and women are like that, and it's objective. It's like, see, there's exceptions to modern art that's beautiful. See, look. You had the woman in a submissive pose with a man in a domineering figure on top of her.
Rounded shoulders, bad posture, you know. You really got to wonder about that thoracic mobility here.
I own you now. That's how men and women operate. It's objective. Because I said so.
Because you spelled it.
The focus should be on masterworks and developing a student's ability to identify what makes a piece of art beautiful, what makes it meaningful, what makes it interesting.
I'm not working.
I've done a few pieces on my channel about art, which I've linked below, and I'm always surprised by the number of comments in support of modern art and that claim that subjectivity precludes generating any beauty standards or even the ability to define what constitutes art.
Well, beauty standards, you're once again leaping on that like that's objective. Like, you haven't established that that's objective yet. So
I get some variation of this comment on every similar video. Why should creativity be confined by artistic standards? And who has the right to set the universal standard for what is real art and what isn't? You seem to be trying to find objectivity in the subjective. Everyone has the right to critique art, but no one should be setting the standard of what is and isn't art.
yeah, I agree with that.
In the defense, takes a stand.
Is the street drummer using pots and pans?
That shit's awesome.
See a musician or where's his contract? What label is he signed under?
The best drummer in the world.
Who's he played with?
Oh, you're 10. You don't know anything.
There are a few things wrong with this, so let's go to the heart of the argument. That beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It really isn't. In fact, there are numerous cross-cultural studies that show a universal consensus about what constitutes a beautiful face, for instance.
That doesn't prove anything.
God.
You know what's coming next, right?
Yeah.
They're coming for everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's no data to support that your soul exists. That's not there.
The Graduation was not a great album.
Like, really? You're going to do studies on what people like and, like, what?
Keep going.
As far as what beauty is?
Keep going with the bullshit.
What the hell?
This is from the New York Times archives and, as always, is linked below.
New York Times.
In the latest study published in the current issue of the British journal Nature, both British and Japanese men and women ranked women's faces as most attractive when certain features associated with youthfulness, like large eyes, high cheekbones, and a narrow jaw, were exaggerated.
Can you tell me to pause it?
Well, it says in the New York Times that I'm gay. Guess that means I'm gay. I'm gay as fuck.
And that makes me homophobic.
Gays are immortal. It says in the New York Times.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, you're gonna have to prove to me that conditioning is not a real thing. That we're not conditioned to say that this is beautiful and this is not. Good luck.
Further, the study found Caucasians gave top ranking to the same Japanese faces that the Japanese preferred, leading the researchers to conclude in their report that there are greater similarities than differences in cross-cultural judgments of facial attractiveness. Clearly, we have an innate mechanism that sees a certain geometry of the face as beautiful and attributes to that face other characteristics seen as most fit.
Conditioning, once again.
Sure.
You can be conditioned by a house. Like, oh, the house is symmetrical. That makes sense for a structure that will stand up.
We're going to follow the Dutch house rules. Yes.
It's like, oh, a house is symmetrical, so faces must be too. On a subconscious level. It's like, oh, okay.
Then they're like, oh, they're not ready yet. Fly away. They're not ready yet.
Then you find out people build these weird archetypal structures.
Yeah.
Yeah. They build these weird looking structures. And like, oh, that's fucking beautiful.
Exactly.
It's like, what? Well, it's different. It's not the same old blocks that we're used to.
Old blocks.
It's something different.
The same old blocks.
Maybe that works with faces too. Who knows? Like, oh, it's unusual.
Everyone has their own.
I don't want to date a Barbie doll or a Ken doll. It's like, oh, something different, unique.
People have preference, you know.
Yeah.
This makes sense since we want to choose mates with high levels of fertility and health. But what about our natural...
What? Like, yeah, I don't know.
I hate...
Like... Yeah, it's not a... Who you gotta go to the red pill? Or blue pill, whatever the fuck. Blue pill, yeah. My bad. But, like, it's like... I don't see how you could come to that conclusion. I really don't.
I think this is why people call them Nazis. I'm not calling them Nazis. I don't think you are either.
No, but it rings a bell. It's like eugenics. Eugenics, huh?
The genetically preferred.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if that's my soulmate.
Yeah.
Oh, she has a year left to live. It's fucking awful, horrible. Doesn't change the fact she's my soulmate.
Yeah.
Oh, that means you're not. Goodbye. The fuck? No.
It does make me think of the Men in High Castle when the son, spoiler alert, the son has some sort of disease, so he turns himself in, and they kill him. He turns himself in to be executed because he follows those ideologies so strictly. Like, there can't be any malfunctions. We must be perfectly genetic.
Yeah.
Whatever.
ability to recognize what we feel is comfortable and beautiful within nature. Many researchers believe that we are hard...
So if this thing called ugly exists in nature, are you saying that doesn't count as nature, or what? I don't know.
wired to recognize the golden ratio in faces and in nature. This is noted from an International Journal of Art study. Golden proportion or golden ratio is usually denoted by the Greek letter phi, which represents an irrational number. Because of its unique and mystifying properties, many researchers and mathematicians have studied the golden ratio, also known as golden section. Renaissance architects, artists, and designers also studied this interesting topic, documented and employed the golden section proportions in eminent works of artifacts, sculptures, paintings, and architecture. The golden proportion is considered the most pleasing to human visual sensation and is not limited to aesthetic beauty. Its existence can be found in the natural world through the body proportions of living beings, the growth patterns of many plants, insects, and also in the model of the enigmatic universe. The properties of golden section can be instituted in the pattern of mathematical series and geometric patterns.
Like mountains.
I
often hear the argument that anything that moves...
It's like some girl with like a fantastic body, and then her head's a mountain. Pause. It's like, hey guys. So this is what you want? This is what you want?
What up, Jordan? We have the same name, except mine is better. I'll call you me, Alan. Nah.
Just call him. Oh, never mind.
We're watching a video by Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, and she's talking about, is there an objective beauty? In this particular instance, she's talking about art, and we're probably gonna end up disagreeing, but
I already disagree.
we're only so far into the video.
Moves you emotionally is, in fact, art. I disagree. I think art must aspire to be beautiful, to captivate the viewer, and to tell a larger story or embody a broader theme. Not only that, it needs to be done skillfully. But this concept of what art should be has been bastardized. Let's take a look at what modern, educated art snobs classify as art. Cheryl Haynes of Haynes Gallery in San Francisco says that art is clear intention, unwavering dedication, patience, perseverance, self-awareness, and the drive to make for yourself and no one else.
For you.
For her.
Well, yeah.
For Cheryl Haynes.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cheryl said this.
Yeah, art's one of those funny things. It's just like beauty. I wonder why she did this video like this.
The state of mind and the nature of the artist seem to be a theme in the Art World Prose commentary on what makes good art. And I encourage you to read all of these supposed experts' commentary in the article below. Some are quite ridiculous. Jack Hanley, who owns a gallery in New York, similarly stated, "I like something where the intensity of the experience of the person making it comes through. Maybe somebody is turned on by the nature of the materials, a psychological issue, or some kind of narrative. Maybe some people have greater intensities of experience than others. What makes art good on a grander scale is how extraordinary and profound the components of those experiences are. Some artists are maybe better than others at tapping into their own idiosyncrasies and conveying them to others."
Yes, I agree. But I can see how she's going to use these definitions to sort of twist it around into something else.
Yeah, I know.
Let's continue.
These comments in particular really embody the solipsism of modern art. There's a...
Oh, by the way, whoever's painting this in the background, pretty good. I love seeing that, like, not just drawing a face, but the shading of faces and all that shit. It's cool to me.
Focus on the intention, on the process, and the artist's state of mind. And there is a complete disregard for the viewer, how a good piece of art unifies the audience through meaningful commentary about the human experience. It's all about the artist's expression, an unrestrained outpouring of their own warped mind. And when there is concern about the elicitation of an emotional reaction, it's often manipulative, relying on shock value or grotesqueness in a feeble attempt for the artist to feel like their junk art is meaningful and powerful.
What the fuck is this?
I think that's the Jesus painted with urine. Am I correct about that? But yeah, I don't know.
What?
See how it sounds like there's some sort of other thing going on? Like she's not really talking about art, but not really talking about art.
Yeah.
Something else.
The great artists, although some did achieve celebrity in their lives, were vessels for their art. Michelangelo famously said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Although he was something of a rock star in his era, he still understood that the art was enduring, the fame was not. His focus was not
rock star who never wore pants. Just kidding.
On his personal experience. It was on achieving divinity through the perfection of the form. He wanted to bring humanity closer to God. That isn't to say that personal experience has no place in art. Some of the most beautiful and moving pieces capture somewhat mundane, everyday moments that are reminiscent of the artist's personal experiences.
I hope she doesn't become an art teacher.
Shouldn't that be what art is? Personal expression? Oh, so I guess she was disagreeing with those quotes.
I guess so.
That we were sort of agreeing with.
Yeah.
Ah. That's weird. It's like, what's the meaning of this painting if you're not there to paint it? Don't you have to be there?
That's like the veil of ignorance thing.
It's like, sort of.
I'm not here.
Yeah.
I made this decision. It's like, then it's not you. Then what is it?
Thus, it can't be moral.
Oh. It's like a robot drew something. Like, yeah.
Essentially, I think that's what she's sort of arguing for. Just copycatting whatever you see. Like,
fuck that, man.
It's like, oh, a light.
Music would be dreadful. And some of it is. The same old and feelings, whatever the fuck, you know. It's like, does that mean something, or are you just you just kind of studying what people like? And let me get a simple beat and something that has like little to no content, you know. It's like, what is this?
But these move us because they reveal a greater truth about the fleeting nature of life, how it's ordinary yet extraordinary, and how capturing this very moment allows one small piece of a memory to endure through the ages, although we can never stop life from slipping through our fingers like grains of sand.
I have a feeling I'm just going to disagree on her bigger picture of life itself. It's about social events. That's what it's smelling like. Social events. If you can't see it, then it's not really that important.
And yet someone gets locked into that cell. Someone gets locked into that cell, right?
Yeah.
And they're fed scraps and shit every day. And they reach that hand in that little hole in the wall and they're reading the what do you call it?
Note.
The little note written on toilet paper. And everything changes.
Yeah.
But no, she's right. My bad. Yep.
Lost this desire to capture ordinary moments and to leave a visual legacy. Perhaps we don't have the same fear of death or the same goals as a society. Perhaps we have just become too self-centered. I don't know, but what I do know is that something profound has been lost to us. So, what is it really that makes a piece of art objectively good? As we discussed before, humans define visual beauty through a level of visceral satisfaction. Even though we may often not even know that we do it, we seek symmetry, complementary colors, correct perspective and proportions, and a balanced composition that draws our interest to a focal point.
Or we see ourselves. I don't know.
I don't get, dude, I'm not a fucking robot. You know? Don't fucking treat me like one. Imagine that. Like, this person's your parent. Here you go. You'll like this. No, I don't.
Golden symmetry. Golden symmetry. Or what is it? Golden ratio. Golden ratio.
Mommy,
that
for
is
Christmas,
beautiful.
All I want is a copy of Kanye's album, Graduation. No, son. You want Beethoven. Here. It's all right. I like Kanye. No, Beethoven. And here's and I want to paint your room gold. I'm leaving you, Mom. Peace. It's like...
Saying there's objective beauty is like saying there's an objective way to communicate. It's like, no, you just gotta speak the same language.
What the fuck's going on here?
I think they're trying to whittle reality down to a certain level so they can make an assumption and then decide how the world goes.
Your ideal partner is gonna have blue eyes and blonde hair.
I think they want to decide how people behave by whittling down their reality to paper mache.
The millionaire cowering underneath the stair steps at his mansion. Oh my God.
Works us through the rest of the piece. There must be a great attention to form, not necessarily capturing it as it is, but perhaps as it should be, opening the mind of the viewer to the very inhuman possibility of absolute perfection. To further illustrate these indicators of great art, let's take an in-depth look at a different masterwork that fulfills most of the criteria that we're discussing, and a famous Fauvist example that fails most of the same criteria.
Except for demons.
This is Botticelli's The Birth of Venus, painted in the mid-1480s. It shows the goddess Venus arriving at shore following her birth and emerging from the sea as a beautiful grown woman. This painting was somewhat unique in its subject matter. Most representations during the era were religious, and this is a traditional scene from Greek mythology. The eye is drawn to the focal point, the nude Venus, and travels down her body through the cream and peach colors to the shell, then up and over to the top of the rich cloak being used by another goddess to cover Venus. The eye then travels to the left to the wind god Zephyr, who blows on Venus to move her to shore. The movement of the wind is evident in the water, in her hair, and the direction of the other goddess's cloak and garments. I chose this painting not because it typifies all of the criteria that we're discussing. I chose it because it is beautiful, interesting, visually satisfying, despite having mythical subject matter and a composition that would never be seen in nature.
Yeah, it's beautiful for you. You like it.
Yeah.
Or someone told you should like it, and you're like, I must follow the rules. And you should too. The eye then follows the left-hand corner, where you see him blowing on her. Pause. And then you see the lady with the dress putting the cloak on her. It's like the eye. What? I'm gonna look where the fuck I want. First of all, it's unbelievable.
Well, I would consider just possible conditioning on several levels.
Well, sure, but it's like just these claims, you know.
Yeah.
This is art and this is junk.
You're reaching, I would say. Right? That's the term. She's reaching.
Somewhat insulting to any other, every other form of art. It's like a fighter, right? Like Silva, like those movements and like, you know, all that. Like, again, this is me, but like, hey, I believe that's art, and anything anybody else finds out what art could be or is to them, then it is. She's like, no, that's not it. This is art.
I would call art self-expression.
My bad.
That
Yes.
you can see externally.
That's better.
Right. To you, it's just you.
Yes.
But once you express it externally, it becomes art.
Yeah. But
Up
again, for her, it's no. There's there's these 10 rules right here. Yeah, see, that's not art, guys. I wrote it down.
This is beauty.
In the New York Times, it gave us 5 bullet points on what art is. Okay, we have to follow it. Are you kidding me? So if I say in the New York Times that you're that you're gay, are you gay? Are you?
I don't think she's a huge fan of New York Times.
No, I'm just saying.
But
or if I give you a study on how you're actually gay.
I know.
What's going on here? Right? Listen,
Well,
you're really a lesbian and you're a Nazi and you're gonna hate Jews. I have a study on it. The numbers don't lie. Then it's like their whole fucking temple's falling apart, you know?
Yeah. You might have a predisposition to psychopathy. It's in this test over here.
This test, you took it without knowing. You're like, don't touch me, murderer.
That was the other future murderer. In time, you just
Did you watch
wait and see.
Did you watch the My Hero thing? He's like,
Yeah.
it's like, how you doing? House arrest. You didn't see that?
Fuck, I don't remember, man.
Oh, this shit was fun.
I always watch those things.
He's like, don't call me that.
I always watch those things at like 2 in the morning on like a Saturday or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just like,
He's like, don't touch me, house arrest.
ding 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 ding.
I called him house arrest. That shit was funny. It reminded me of like when Dan was like, hey, Stitches. I'm like, fuck.
Dry snitching.
It's about me. Don't give a fuck.
The king of dry snitching.
Are you kidding me? Are you for real? That don't count.
It actually does not perfectly satisfy
We'll fucking
every
do this,
single thing
alright? Paul,
that
you're
makes
safe
a
for now.
wonderful
No,
piece
I'm
of art,
safe, no.
yet it still is. She stands atop a shell, and in terms of perspective, if this was a truly realistic form, she would fall right off and faceplant. But her stance indicates the movement of her arriving on shore. It's an exaggeration. Similarly, her body is not completely true to the human form. It's elongated. Her hair is also highly exaggerated. Like Michelangelo, Botticelli sought not necessarily to capture reality exactly as it is, but to elevate it to something more divine, particularly in terms of the human form. He wanted to epitomize an unrealistic, unachievable, and godly concept of beauty. In terms of color, the greenish hues and creamy orange hues complement one another and really unify the piece.
I just want to get a cigarette and put it on my wrist right now.
I'm alive! What if you found, whatever, the soulmate, the one? Now this highest form of beauty is like, yeah, she cool. She aight.
Contrast, but there's a sense that all of the individual parts belong together. Although there are intentional perspective issues, it does not distract from the focal point of the painting. And the movement throughout and balance between the god and goddess on the left and the right, respectively, gives the viewer a sense of satisfaction, of equilibrium. It's obvious that Botticelli had mastered advanced painting techniques and that he had devoted himself to developing a personal style and perspective that demonstrated his high skill level. Although the subject matter of a painting should not be all about the artist, to be a great work, the artist must be central in a way in that they have to show a command of the medium. Now let's take a look at one of my least favorite artists, Matisse. Actually, I'll walk that back a bit because I quite like his earlier works. He showed great promise, but at some point in his career...
We'll find out if she's like, we're going to find, like, see? This is what it should look like. He showed promise, then he fucked up. No, let's keep going. This is ridiculous.
Like many other artists in the era, he became devoted to the ugly, to the off-putting. Eventually, this dissonance began to define his artistry. Perhaps his most famous painting is The Dance, painted in 1910, which is an exceptionally ugly work. His preliminary version of this...
What the fuck? What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We're talking about what people like as far as like facial patterns and shit. So this goes like, you know, she's not talking about artwork as far as paintings and crap, you know, and sculptures. No, now you're talking about everything.
Yeah. Fuck
that. That's some shallow ass shit. I hope she hears it.
Yeah, me too.
Unbelievable, man. This is just sad. Keep going.
1910 painting Dance 1 is a more rudimentary version and has somehow achieved even more fame. But because this was not his final version of the piece...
This is my...
ridiculous.
This is my theory with certain things, like, okay, I think I compared it to rappers. Like, okay, you proved you can traditionally rap.
Yeah.
So then when Kanye makes 808s and Heartbreak, or whatever it's called, and it's like it's full like auto-tune sounding album, but we already know you did this over here. So it's like you could. It's a person expressing different things in different ways. I don't see how it's ugly or bad.
I don't got a problem with auto-tune. Now, if you know, there's a reason why someone says they're using something, you know, then it's like,
Well, the point is to say that, you know, artists like to switch things up.
No, it's fine.
Instead of...
Well, it's meaning behind it.
They'll do the same thing as everyone else.
It's the meaning behind it, you know.
Yeah.
We'll discuss the 1910 dance. Like The Birth of Venus, I chose this not because it fails every criteria, but because it satisfies some and still is an ugly piece of art. Matisse became obsessed with primitive art, and this is evident in many of his works from the era. That's where this starts to go wrong for me, but we'll discuss subject matter in a bit.
Yeah.
In terms of movement, this piece actually does satisfy most of the related criteria. There is very good movement and balance, the left and right...
There is no rule book for art. This is... you don't know what art is. You don't know. You don't fucking know, okay? I got it. If I put fucking holes in the drywall from punching it, and I call it something, that's fucking art.
It's called Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what does this mean?
I hit a home run. I call that art. I get clay. I sculpt something. It's like some shape. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I made it. I like it. That's art.
Yeah.
And you could say, it ain't for me, man, but you know. You can't say, oh, it's ugly. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's not preferable. Yeah, for you. And even your standards of what's preferable is like pretty shallow. Like, do you have a rule book or something or somewhere? Did like some sort of
That's what it sounds like.
Did someone throw a scroll in your face? Listen, Blondie, this is what we want. This isn't. It's ugly. Now say it 10 times so you believe it. All right. Go ahead. Go on your world and find a partner that thinks the same thing. Fuck out of here. Unreal. Yeah. Unreal.
And we're not even art experts.
No.
Like painting art experts.
I'm an expert from my art, though.
I'm an expert on, as far as existential understanding of beauty and things like that. Perspective. That's what makes you wrong in my book.
No, she's wrong.
Right side of the painting feel equally weighted, and the eye moves through the...
She's wrong on calling it objectively good looking or objectively
That's
ugly.
what I mean.
Not if she personally calls it ugly.
No, that's fine.
But
that's okay. But then again, right? It's the universal law of what is good. As far as this looks good. This is ugly. It's like, fuck out of here. No. You're not doing that.
Yeah.
Whole painting and around the circle of the 5 dancers, making the composition feel complete. That being said, I think it lacks a definitive focal point, even though the eye is eventually drawn to the 2 dancers whose hands are reaching for one another. The real problem I have with this piece is in the form. There's virtually no attention given to capturing a realistic form, and unlike the Birth of Venus, the objective was not to elevate the form by diverging from reality. Here, he seems to want to capture the primitive, lackluster lines, bulbous, ugly bodies, and expressionless faces. Similarly, the treatment of color is flat, uninteresting, and amateurish, although I am aware that this was intentional, especially because of the high quality of his earlier works. The stark contrast of colors is unsettling, the blue against the green, and the oranges of these weird blob bodies. In terms of technique, let's be honest, a child could have painted this.
That one doesn't count.
I understand that this was a technique used to try to capture the tribalism and freeness of this dance. But technique is really what distinguishes good art from bad art. Expression isn't everything. That is, of course, part of it, but the defining factor...
That's what art is. It's expression. It's literally what it is. So you can't say it isn't everything. What it is actually is everything. Otherwise, we'd have, like you said, robots doing our paintings for us.
Well, to be honest, though, someone had to make the robot do something specific. So this is a better example, right? If we're not here to observe it, then what is it?
It's matter.
Yeah. If you look at this, right? As far as what was it specifically? The veil of ignorance. We take ourselves out of the situation itself, and then we're gonna make the most rational decision. Then what is it? That's not you. That's some fucking robot. That's not you making a decision. That's creepy. It's not real. This isn't real. Okay? This is shallow.
It's real. It's real ego. But
you know what I mean?
I doubt she's done the psychological stuff or whatever. But I bet we'll quote Jordan Peterson at points. Whatever.
Is whether or not the artist has exhibited a true talent, a nearly unparalleled ability to depict a scene or image in an advanced style that has been actualized through a passionate devotion to the craft. Although the childlike style of the dance was intentional, there's no denying that a high level of artistic aptitude seems to be entirely absent here.
What about?
Hold on, my bad. Isn't it odd that right in the beginning we're like, I know where this is going.
Yeah. What about like a real observation of a dream, right? Only that person can experience that dream. Let's say you see like geometric patterns and shapes, or like Joe Rogan talking about like acid trips or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I see all these geometric shapes. Well, no one else is seeing that, just him.
Yeah.
And he painted like, oh, this is my experience I saw. What?
Or his experience
does that
with
make
anything.
it bad art? It's like, no.
His experience with the jujitsu or whatever the fuck. Like, oh, it's amazing. I love it. It's like, hey, look at that. Or his experience with comedy. She's like, oh, that's low-level ambitions. I have studies to prove it. What you should do.
See, look at the crowd. We tested the decibels in a room, and this got the loudest laughter. That means it's objectively funny over here, and then this didn't get as many, so it's objectively not funny. Do you see the difference there?
I see the difference.
How about those 5 people that laughed at that joke? Really thought that was funny. The other people didn't.
I wish Bill Hicks was here.
Yeah. Bill Hicks is Alex Jones.
Press space.
Form, technique, perspective, talent, these are all very important aspects of what makes a great piece of art. But the subject matter is also very important.
Yeah.
Great art connects us to one another.
Tell me what talent is. Go ahead. But you can't. Oh, never mind. No, not never mind. Just go ahead.
Subject matter is also very important. Great art connects us to one another. It shows us something true about the human condition, about the elements of our lives that we all share.
Why wouldn't someone express their subjective experience then? If it tells us something about ourselves. It's not tell me something about yourself without using yourself. Use something else.
It's not symmetrical. My eye isn't drawn.
Where's the golden ratio?
It tells a story or brings us together to a higher place.
Oh.
Back to our...
So we're here.
Cicerone would shit himself hearing.
Exactly.
But what?
I cringe.
We're going to collectively go to heaven?
Collectively.
What?
Yes. It's like this. We're here. And we're going to ascend. It's like, fuck out of here. Knock it off.
That's actually a great point. Think about it. You're basically arguing for okay, let's say there's heaven. You're arguing that we all go to the same exact heaven.
No, my heaven is mine. It's mine.
That's
mine.
what she's arguing for, basically.
It's like my bliss. It's not yours. It's mine.
You're talking about something like beauty and saying that we all find the same things.
Ridiculous.
Beauty.
No.
Beautiful.
No. Like
There is an objective beautiful. That means heaven has the objective beauty.
You have two MMA fighters.
Yeah.
They both love fighting. It's their thing. But it's not the same.
Nah, yeah, exactly.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah. Some guys want to choke you out. Some guys want to knock you the fuck out.
Even that.
Some guys want to be defensive. Some
And their experiences leading up to that, and to why they do, it's different. Which means that's it, flat out. Flat out.
Without the experience, they're already different.
That's her, though.
Yeah. You're basically making the case for
a gigantic rule book telling me on how to do
a one-way heaven.
Yeah.
For just clouds and harps. Like you Metallica fan, get the fuck out of here. Like that doesn't fit here in this objective heaven.
I guess my heaven is hell then, compared to your shit. You know.
Examples. The birth of Venus, although it depicts a completely mythological scene, inspires awe in the viewer. It's so beautiful, an embodiment of absolute femininity manifested through nature and the human form.
See, I told you.
Christ.
What did she say? Femininity through nature and the human form. So you're saying femininity is a metaphysical thing? Like now you're like in that realm where don't respond to this. Like it's not a good. That wouldn't be good for.
She won't respond.
She won't, regardless.
No, she don't want the smoke.
Free smoke.
Oh, it's gonna cost her something. Cost her whole.
She has a lot more fans than us. Gang up.
So what? Fucking.
Send the horde. I said horde, not horde.
The viewer feels like the artist has captured something divine and feels grateful that it's expressed through lowly humanity, which is really the only thing that we understand. It isn't simple, so...
Dude, that'd be a great idea. Like, break up these, like, collectivized groups of YouTube and put them in, like, Game of Thrones houses. Yeah. These guys are clearly the Lannisters.
Clearly.
We're superior.
We have one imperfection. Two. Jamie, you bang your sister. And you small midget. I can't believe I'm dealing with this.
We'd be the many-faced gods. because we just go over
many face
all these topics.
Well, I'm not a rapper.
Yeah.
And feels grateful that it's expressed through lowly humanity, which is really the only thing that we understand.
Pyramid, it's your favorite YouTuber, blonde in the belly of the beast. That girl we had the last video.
This shit is... Ready? I'll use her word. Garbage. It's garbage. Not the painting. Your reasoning is garbage.
Through lowly humanity, which is really the only thing that we understand. It isn't simple, so to say, but with continued viewing, it's pretty easy to tell a story about what is happening. With no knowledge of Greek mythology or art history, you can see that an unrealistically beautiful and feminine woman is washing ashore, being carried by the breath of a god. She seems to restrain her sexuality with a modest pose, covering herself with her hands and her long hair, and she's about to be clothed.
It's called a preview, all right? So, hey, Phil.
That's the mom.
Oh. It's like, stop by at 8 later. Mary, no! Oh! Cover yourself!
But she has no sense of shame on her face.
This dude's trying to blow on her.
And like we saw with Pollock, who purged all of his weird emotional energy onto the canvas without regard for the audience, that is another defining quality in good and bad art. The ability to practice restraint in technique, in form, and in subject matter. Let's go back to the Matisse painting, which completely lacks restraint. Unlike the Birth of Venus, which also has sexual themes, the dance is a celebration of primitive, unrestrained hedonism. And it's not just the subject matter that lacks restraint. He mirrors the unbridled hedonism of the dancers with uneven and careless brushstrokes. Although, once again, I am aware that this...
Okay, this is moving towards, like...
This is brainwashy.
This is moving towards, like, strictly Christianity type of...
Yeah.
Look at the hedonism of the savages. They don't even wear clothes when they dance.
Look at the red men dancing. It's like, what? What'd you say?
Just the hedonistic nature
Fuck,
of people
like,
holding hands.
This lady's a dum-dum.
I don't know the history of this art piece.
I don't care.
You know, I don't know. It just smells
Even
off.
Look, even if someone had intentions, you know, it's like, I can give it meaning as well.
Yeah.
Instantly.
So, hopefully there's a history where the guy's saying, this is hedonistic celebration.
I'm only saying that because this is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like you're faking. There's no way. You're faking.
I think she's serious. I think she started with a...
I have a whole thing about, like...
I think she went into her mind, said, I want the world to be this way. Now I'm going to pick all these subjects
Here's the thing, though.
Try to push it towards that.
Is that authentic? Or is it did someone tell you? Which is why is that truly you, or is that fake?
I think it could be.
Think of it like you got the candy bar, you know what I mean? You got the chocolate coating, then you got the stuff that's inside the candy bar.
Yeah.
It's like, who put that shit on the? You know what I mean? Who did it? Is that you? Then there's the rapper.
I think it's authentic on an ego level, which is where I'll get this something about that.
Like, look, if she personally likes it, even after she's like, I was bullshitting, but I do like this better. I like how it is. I always like that. You know? Well, fair enough, but you can't say, oh, wait, this is not good, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
It's universal ugly. Like, what are you talking about? I dare you.
I'll get to it, man. I will get to it.
Was intentional. Being consistent in theme and technique is not necessary to create a good piece of art. I fail to see why I should hold this piece to the high level of the masterworks if it displays none of the comparable technique or skill.
You don't have to, but you can't just tell us that there's an objective, that it's objectively bad.
and modern art has gotten so much worse than Matisse. Why? Why have works that show us nothing about humanity, that make us feel nothing, that capture no truth or beauty?
Oh my Christ. Look, were you there? Did you make it?
No.
All right. Someone could have done that in a fit of rage and anger. They're just fucking twirling around, throwing shit, going like... There's meaning there.
Yeah.
And he can describe it to you. Or he could say, fuck it, you find out.
Yeah.
Look at it. You tell me. Or they could have said, hey, listen, your mom is healthy again. He fucking starts twirling shit, painting. Or she. Are you kidding me?
Or he could have tripped and fell and just went...
Exactly.
It's like, fuck. How'd this come out like this? All I do is fall.
Exactly. Then he looks at something. I like this.
And clearly people are buying these things.
Because people find something they can project themselves, possibly.
And I think a lot of those people are like, you know...
Like, again, their own like reason to why. Their own, like, you know, versus... This looks like people like this. I'll buy it.
Yeah, this looks like
versus,
it's worth a lot of money.
I like this shit. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to get the new Drake album versus... This doesn't do it for me. I'm not buying it. So, toss, you know?
Yeah.
Been elevated to the level of Michelangelo. It's our societal sickness. It's postmodernism, our solipsism, the belief that the world ends at us, at our feelings, at our truth.
Tell me a truth. I bet you can't.
If there's no universal truth, there is no universal beauty. And if there's no universal beauty, then the ugly can be revered. Thanks, folks, and I'll see you soon.
Are you like
Bye.
a mean girl?
Right.
What's going on here?
Looks like a mean girl. Alright, I'm just going to say this. She needs to do some heavy shadow work. Heavy shadow work.
You want to see the real horror show? The real John Carpenter? Go ahead.
You need to take...
Let the movie roll.
All your ideas that you say, I know this and I know that. Swirl them all together and just throw them against the wall. And then re-examine it and put it all back together.
It's going to end up like this.
Every little particle, every little molecule. Study each little thing. Why do I like this? Why don't I like this?
It's like Tyson is sparring.
Really look into it.
Tyson is sparring in the ring. And his trainer's like, come on, kid. Look at the footage here. This is what you look like right here. Do you see that? Oh, gosh, I didn't even see that. Oh, whoa. You see what's wrong here, right? I kind of don't watch. No, you're going to watch the rest of it. Click.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, except imagine that, but worse.
Yeah.
Probably.
This sounds like a person who's only had summer and
again, every time
full speed away from winter.
It's this. We live
winter.
No, we live in Massachusetts here, and every time in the summer, like I don't like the winter. I don't like the spring. I like the summer. It's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Now we take out, like this area, so we take us, our family, our pets, our dog, no, our friends, dogs, and we go somewhere. Oh, I like it here. It's me. I'm escaping something from over here. I'm gonna go to California. Wee. I don't like the summer weather. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What? What are you running from? What's going on here?
Half a man is not a man. It's just half a man, which is not a man. Something like that. Alright, so I would love it if she watched this and could hear that. Just this part alone. Do some shadow work. I'm not even going to tell you what the fuck that means.
I'm not even going to say respond. You don't have to.
I'm not even going to tell you what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Just go look into it. Go see if that's an actual thing or not. That's all I want to say. You got anything left?
Mm-mm.
Okay. If you're new, you should subscribe because we go over a bunch of different topics. We love comments, critiques, support, whatever. We'll take it. And it's free for now. And with that said...
Wait!
What?
Pyramid 7.
I prefer voluptuous women. Who doesn't? Oh, wait. It's not objective. Some guys like slender women. Some guys like taller women. Some guys like shorter women.
Or Drake.
Or we're wrong.
I like my girls, BBW.
Or we're wrong and it's just objective. We're all just pursuing the same exact woman, every single one of us, and what happens is we settle for something less than that. But we're all pursuing the same objective woman. Aesthetically, the way that she looks, I mean. Thanks for watching, and as always, give this video a giant thumbs down.